Dear students, in the previous classes we were continuously studying about the entrepreneur. So we have studied many things about the entrepreneur, and I hope today I am taking up the last topic of the entrepreneur. In the previous class, just yesterday we saw what you call characteristics of an entrepreneur and different types of an entrepreneur. So today we will see functions of an entrepreneur, what an entrepreneur does or what he is supposed to do. So there are so many functions. All the functions I have put in a just a graph so that you can have a glimpse, and explanations of all these functions will be followed later. And just one note I want to tell you all. With this I will be going very fast because most of the things you are very clear and you are aware, because these are the functions of a manager. So these functions of a manager are the functions of an entrepreneur itself. Therefore there is nothing new in this. So all you things you have studied, especially this planning, organizing, staffing, directing, controlling, leadership, motivation, communication, coordination, controlling, I hope this all management topics that you have studied. Therefore nothing to do new things, rest a little new ones. So there are different categories of the functions. There are entrepreneurial functions, promotional functions, managerial functions, and commercial functions. So in the entrepreneurial function, what is there? It's a innovation, risk taking, and organizing. So the other day I have said entrepreneur is a risk taker, innovator, and organizer. That's the functions of a what you call entrepreneurial functions. Then promotional functions. See, once you are starting the enterprise, it's not over. So you have to promote your products. So idea evolving, detailed investigation, assembling requirements, financing. So these are promoting your product or promoting your business. Then managerial aspects, very simple. This I am not going to stress much thing. Just I will go in brief today because you will understand them very easily. They are planning, organizing, staffing, directing, leadership, communication, motivation, coordination, and controlling. Then we have some commercial functions that an entrepreneur has to conduct. They are production, marketing, accounting, and finance. So these are also aspects he has to give a concentration. So let's now move with the one after the another function so that you will get in detail. So first we have a entrepreneurial functions. So in the entrepreneurial function, in the chart we saw, first one is innovation. Schumpeter, this man, we already know that when we were studying the definitions we have studied. So Schumpeter defines entrepreneur as an innovator who introduces new combinations of means of production. In today's modern business, innovation plays an important role. With his innovative ideas, entrepreneur introduces new products, creates new markets, applies new methods in the process of production, and also discovers new and better sources of raw materials which help in increasing production on the one hand and reduce the costs on the other. So innovation implies new things or doing of things that are already being done in a new way. So an entrepreneur continuously seeks to innovate and create value around pursued operations. See, I have put a lot of explanation. Why? Because if at all you have not followed my explanation, at least you can go through these explanations. Therefore, please make a note, whatever you understand. That's why I am telling. Innovation means there is nothing. Two things you have to keep in mind. Either he is thinking of producing something new, that item which was not there in the market at all, one thing, or the item that are there in the market already, but you are finding a new method of producing, or something newness you are giving, okay, or some little addition to the same product you are adding and supplying. That is innovation. So entrepreneur has to think of the innovation, can't continue with the same thing. Now you see the mobiles, how the entrepreneurs of the mobile companies are coming with new ideas. Then risk taking. So risk taking is also the important function of an entrepreneur. Risk taking refers to the responsibility for loss that may occur due to unforeseen contingencies of the future. Entrepreneur assumes the risk of the business. Risk means uncertainty. It is the condition of not knowing the outcome of a decision or activity. He takes calculated risk and faces uncertainty confidently and assumes risk. An entrepreneur is a talented and skillful person who undertakes the risks of business. He visualizes opportunities for introducing new ideas and handles economic uncertainty. What it says is, see, entrepreneur is a risk taker, and whenever you do something, it is always there is an uncertainty. You are not sure what's going to happen, whether you are starting some, whether you will be earning something or going to lose. You don't know whenever you start something. So always there is a possibility to get a profit. At the same time, you have all the possibilities and probabilities of undergoing the loss. Therefore, it is not sure. Therefore, the moment you are an entrepreneur, so you are sure for a risk, and risk facing capacity should be there. Then organizational building. In simple, I can say organizing. Another function is organizing. So this regarding this concept is given by JBC. So you must recall back those people have said. So Peter F. Drucker, then Schumpeter, then JBC. These are the main people who give the definitions for entrepreneurship development. So JBC defines the organizing function of an entrepreneur as a function whereby the entrepreneur brings together various factors of production and ensures a proper management as well. So the purpose is to allocate productive resources in order to minimize losses and reduce the cost of production. An entrepreneur formulates business plans, coordinates various activities of the business, and also supervises these activities to ensure proper management of the enterprise. Thus, organization and management function includes planning of an enterprise, coordination, administration, and controlling, routine type of supervision. What it says is, everything that is in the organization you require just to organize it. So entrepreneur has to organize before start producing or start supplying. So these are the entrepreneurial functions. I hope you understand these main things. You remember, entrepreneur is a risk taker, entrepreneur is an innovator, and entrepreneur is an organizer, and these are his functions. Then we have some promotional functions. So what are the promotional functions? So first one is idea evolving. The foremost function of an entrepreneur is to conceive the idea to start a profitable and rewarding venture. He should be competent enough to discover new and innovative ideas and commercially exploit them. The ideas could be effective utilization of natural resources or new ventures with high profits, or exploring new opportunities to increase the profitability of an existing enterprise. Then, generated ideas are analyzed after discussing its feasibility with the experts in terms of costs and benefits. The most beneficial idea is finally selected. See, the moment you are thinking of becoming an entrepreneur, then the ideas should flow one after the another. Just one idea comes, then it doesn't work out. That ideas after ideas, then you have to compare the alternative ideas that are coming. Then cost benefit analysis you have to do it. Simply idea comes, then you can't jump into the business. So you have to take a guidance or consult with the experts. Then you have to see the cost benefit analysis. Then only you can go ahead with the particular idea which you feel very feasible and suitable. So idea evolving is one of the promotional function an entrepreneur has to do. Then detailed investigation, and after confirming the feasibility in terms of costs and benefits, entrepreneur will estimate total demand for the product. There may be certain players already in that type of market. Therefore, he will firstly determine his plan of action and then enters into the market. He will do a thorough analysis of various factors and come up with the estimates. The primary components which he requires are men, material, money, machinery, and availability of power. So the estimate about these factors should be made, and the possible sources of finance are also discussed in detail. The estimates should be based on proper analysis of different factors. What it says is, here detailed investigation has to be done of all the production factors that are involved. See, now you have come up with one idea, but whether that item, these materials are available or not, how much cost it incurs to bring the items or materials, that has to be calculated. A detailed investigation on every material has to be studied. Now you are thinking of starting a what you call one engineering college in a remote place. At the same time, when you are starting, engineering college there in a remote place, you must think that okay, resources, will I get staff there, because staff members, usually family members, they won't come and stay in your college, so they will be traveling. So will they get it? In the same way, you think that in a village area you are starting a hospital, which doctors will come and keep there, bring and keep there? So no doctors will come in the remote places unless they are forced to come. Therefore, you have to think what kind of, so their human resource problem is. In the same way, some places you start some businesses, there is a problem of the materials. So money problem will be there, financing problem, whether the banks are giving you a loan or not to start a business, whether you have a sufficient funds, that all investigation has to be done. Then assembling requirements. So when the entrepreneur sure that the proposed venture would be feasible and profitable for him, he proceeds to assemble the requirements. The entrepreneur selects the site of his factory, decides about installation of plant and machinery, and contacts suppliers of raw materials, etc. See, now idea is framed and he has thought of starting a business, and which is very feasible for him. So now he has to venture contact every material, every person. So now plan starts, plan to bring the people, how much people require, whom to get, whom to contact, all those things. Then materials, who is material supplying the particular material, what kind of the machinery to be brought, comparing, going and seeing what kind of the machineries are implemented in similar organizations. So all those things inquired. So it's a kind of assembling the things. Now machinery you are assembling, land, factory, and human resource, all things you are putting together, bringing together, and starting, almost giving a start to the factory. That is a function of the entrepreneur. Then another promotional entrepreneur is a financing. This is a, we call vitamin M. So for every organization, the basic vitamin is vitamin M. So money, M means money. Okay. An entrepreneur estimates the requirements of finance at each stage. Then various sources from where finance can be raised are tapped and evaluated so that it can be raised at minimum cost of capital. Both short-term and long-term requirements of finance are determined and also arranged by the entrepreneur. So an entrepreneur always tries to arrange finance at a lower cost and reasonable terms. We know that any whether it is a small scale industry or a big scale industry, whatever may be, so what you require is a money. Without money you can't start, neither you can run, so neither you continue your business. So every day you require money. So who makes the arrangement of the money? It is not the manager or any other staff and all. They, not the attenders will come. Attenders will or accountants will keep only the account. So financing function is of the entrepreneur. He himself has to collect the money, whichever may be the form, whether he takes the loan, but he must keep that the cost that is incurred for the finance should be less. Means if he is taking a loan, then interest very less, at the lowest interest money is able to get. From there he has to get it. Or somebody is donating, or somebody is giving a loan, then you find out who will give you a loan, or through the shares, from where you can get money. That is another promotional function. I hope you understood now promotional functions. So two categories we have finished. The first category we have finished entrepreneurial functions. Now we finished with the promotional functions. Let's move with the another category, that is managerial functions. With these functions I am not going to spend much time, because these are the aspects, common aspects you know already. Just I will read out something. Planning. So planning is the most important managerial function of an entrepreneur. It is predetermined course of action to accomplish the given objectives of an enterprise. An entrepreneur has to decide in advance what is to be done, how it is to be done, when it is to be done, where it is to be done, by whom it is to be done, and so on. Planning is the process of thinking before acting. Proper planning ensures smooth running of the business enterprise. In the absence of planning, other managerial functions of an entrepreneur, like organizing, staffing, directing, coordinating, and controlling, can be accomplished. So what it says is planning has to be planning is the important managerial function, and where you so in that you plan who will do what, then where to start, when to start, so all these things, questions you will be answered in the planning. Second managerial function of an entrepreneur is organizing. So we have regarding this aspect we already dealt in the entrepreneurial function. We have to organize. So same thing here also, organizing all the activities that are involved in this one. See here you have to organize what is there when the work is going on. You have to organize there. The organized function of an entrepreneur refers to bringing together various factors of production from the successful execution of his planning. So he makes objective selection of individuals in conformity with their skills in solving specific problems. They bring together various factors of production, minimize losses and reduce the cost of production. An entrepreneur formulates business plans and ensures their execution. An entrepreneur is one who combines various factors of production and then produces a product for market. See, we are very clear that to produce something you require various factors of production, like now men, material, machine and money. So men, machine, material and money, these are the 4 M's we can call it. So these things you have to organize, who is where, who is doing what kind of material to be brought, who will supply the material, who will work where, with what department, everything has to be put in a order. So that is called organizing. Then staffing. This function of an entrepreneur involves the planning of human resources and its proper management. Thus, it includes manpower planning, that is, assessing manpower requirement in terms of quality and quantity, recruitment of right type of person for the right job, selection, training and development, and appraisal system of personnel working in the enterprise. Staffing is a very important function of an entrepreneur because it is it is concerned with human beings whose behavior and actions cannot be predicted. Here what it says is staffing is a main function that is completely related to the human resource. Now we know that in the any organization most important factor is a human beings, human resource. So because this human resource gives is like a key to all other factors of production, because everything is moved by the human resource. Therefore right people at a right job is a main responsibility of an entrepreneur. It's not only right people at a right job, at the same time how many people are required, that also calculation is done. You can't keep excess people or less people, so there should be a sufficient required amount of the people has to be kept at a particular place. So right people, right means competent people, qualified people you have to brought in for a particular job, skillful people for a skill oriented jobs. Then the fourth function is directing. So direction is moving towards action and supplying stimulative power to the group. For the successful execution of plans, an entrepreneur has to guide and supervise his subordinates. It is concerned with the manner in which entrepreneur influences the actions of his subordinates. He should guide his employees to work efficiently to accomplish the pre-decided objectives of an enterprise. See, the ideas are always in the minds of an entrepreneur. Therefore, how one should go about, how we should do, and if somebody is not doing right, a kind of proper direction has to be given by the entrepreneur. So, because idea is in the mind of the entrepreneur, and he has to give a push, and he has to give the he has to direct the employees there. So, this is another function he has to perform. Then the fifth entrepreneur's function is leadership. So leadership is the ability to build up confidence and zeal among people in an organization and to create an urge in them to be led. An entrepreneur must have the ability to build successful teams and thus working in teams. He should be good at building and managing successful teams. Leadership quality is the most important characteristic of entrepreneur. It is the process of influencing and supporting others to work enthusiastically towards achieving objectives. You see that whenever there is a group of people, somebody has to lead, otherwise it will be all confusion and all mess, because teamwork, group works always requires one person to lead, so to guide. And entrepreneur sometimes may say that in the organization we appoint so many managers and they will take up the leadership and they will guide and they will work, everything will be looked after by the efficient and the competent and skillful managers. Absolutely you are right, but to all the managers you are a leader. The entrepreneur is the prime leader because all the leaders are guided by the entrepreneur, because the idea is of the entrepreneur. Yes, they may give idea and direction, everything. At the same time, with the everything moves with the consultation with the entrepreneur. So entrepreneur should have a highly leadership skill, because he has to direct the leaders. He cannot deny that leadership skill is not an important aspect of entrepreneur. Entrepreneur need to be very and highly having the leadership skill. Next, so some more managerial functions of an entrepreneur we'll see. Communication. So communication is also one of the major functions of an entrepreneur. An entrepreneur should be a good communicator, and with his good communication skills, he should be able to convince others with his innovative thoughts and ideas. Good communication also means that both sender and receiver understand each other and are being understood. That is the exchange of ideas, feelings, emotions, knowledge and information. An entrepreneur who can effectively communicate with customers, employees, suppliers and creditors will be more likely to succeed. Good communication also improves the behavior of the subordinates and changes their actions. What it says is communication skill has a lot of impact on your people whom with you are dealing. It may be your customers, it may be your employees, it may be your suppliers, whoever may be. How you are dealing, that's more important. What is the style of your communication? Are you rude? Are you arrogant or very polite, kind? Your words itself speaks to your personality. Therefore, communication is one of the important aspect of an entrepreneur, and he has to communicate. So there is no doubt that the moment entrepreneur, I need not communicate to anybody. I need not require communication skill. So entrepreneur is require a high communication skill. Then motivation. In general terms, motivation is the process of psychological process of creating urge among the subordinates to do certain things, to behave in the desired manner. It is also very important function of an entrepreneur. The workers cannot give their 100% unless they are self-motivated and their services are recognized. The entrepreneur should adopt many strategies for motivating his subordinates. An entrepreneur has to motivate his subordinates and inspire them to achieve the objectives of enterprise. Motivation can be given financially by providing enhancement in wages or salaries, distribution of bonus, etc., or it may be non-financial by providing recognition of employees, workers, participation in management, job security, better working conditions, etc. See, what it says is you can motivate the employees in two ways, either by monetary ways or non-monetary ways. So monetary ways means by giving some financial money aspects, and non-monetary means like giving a promotion, recognition, appreciation, all those. But what it says is, to move your business in a best manner, you have to inspire the people, you have to motivate the people. Whichever way you may take up of motivation, there are so many motivation techniques that you can adopt it. But what it says is, as an entrepreneur, you should have a skill of motivating, and it is one of the function of an entrepreneur. He cannot say that I need not motivate the people, or it's a job of the manager and all. But you have to inspire the managers, you have to motivate them. So motivation is an inner urge. So every human beings have that. You have to ignite that inner urge they are having. Then another is coordinating. It is very important for an entrepreneur to coordinate the activities of various individuals in the organizations for the achievement of common goals. The whole organization is divided into different departments or sections, and each department has given a specific target to be achieved. It is the duty of the entrepreneur to coordinate the activities of all the departments and compare the performance of each department with the predetermined standards. If there is a difference between actual and standard, corrective measures should be undertaken. So what it says is the moment you are having a large scale organizations and all, there are various departments, and among the various departments there may be a misunderstanding or differences arises. So or the different this activities in the process are carried out by one department by the another department. Therefore these departments has to be controlled and observed very brilliantly, otherwise it is a very problematic, and the problems arise because of non coordination. Therefore, coordinating aspect has to be given high importance by the entrepreneur. And finally, we have a aspect called controlling. So, the whatever business you have to control. So, students, you are very clear what is control. Control means measuring the actual performance with the standard performance and finding out the deviation. So, controlling is also a very important function of an entrepreneur. In simple words, controlling means to see whether the activities have been performed in conformity with the plans or not. It is the process which enables entrepreneur for the successful implementation of his policies and to take corrective action if performance is not according to the predetermined standards. So planning is meaningless if it is not properly executed and controlled. The main purpose of controlling is to see whether the activity is achieving desired results. This is what the control function is. So I'm sure that actual standard is fixed by the entrepreneur. Now he has to calculate the actual, compare it, and find out whether it is according to the plan or not. If it is not, then he has to take the measures to set right. So this is a controlling function of an entrepreneur. So we saw the third category of functions, that is managerial functions. So we began with the, let's see, we began with the entrepreneurial functions, then we went with promotional functions, then we came to the managerial functions, and now we'll move with the commercial functions. This is the last category of the functions. So in the commercial functions we have four categories. One is production, marketing, accounting, and finance. These also has to be looked after by the entrepreneur. Yes, you are appointing one manager there to each department, yes, but for them you are a head. Therefore, you have to perform these functions also. Okay, your job could be reduced by giving or delegating this job to other person, but at the same time you should know what it is. So production, an entrepreneur manages the activities of production, including designing of products, formulation of policies, and plans and production administration. He also manages the ancillary activities. Ancillary means sub activities. So assisting activities which support the production function. He also invents new methods of production and design new packages. So the overall success of the organization also depends upon the efficient performance of the production activities of an enterprise. See, in the enterprise, production is one of the important aspect, and your effectiveness of the organization is based on the production. So next is the marketing. Marketing is the sum of all those business activities that direct the flow of goods and services from producer to consumer. It is also an important function performed by an entrepreneur along with the other production and managerial functions. It includes the functions like product planning, standardization, branding, packaging, labeling, storage, transportation, financing, etc. So in the marketing, all categories will come. So begins with the planning. So before you producing, you have to plan out how much to be produced, and how you plan out, you take a marketing survey with the people, what kind of the products you want, how much requirement is there, then you produce accordingly, then you do advertisement, sales promotion, and after sales evaluation, also customer satisfaction, consumer behavior, every aspect you have to look into in the marketing. So the success of marketing function is highly dependent upon marketing mix. Marketing mix is the combination of four pieces that you know: product, price, promotion, and place. This you will be studying in a marketing subject, marketing management. So an entrepreneur uses appropriate marketing mix to face the competition. What it says is, so you need to be an expert in the marketing strategies. Otherwise, you cannot see the success of your enterprise. So then is accounting. So the main trust of any business enterprise is to earn profits and create wealth for the business. So accounting is the art of recording, classifying, summarizing business transactions and interpreting the financial results thereof. So entrepreneur records business transactions in the books of original entry, posts them into the ledger, makes the trial balance, and finalizes the books of accounts by preparing profit and loss account and balance sheet at the end of the year. So whatever accounting procedures are there, that has to be done, then only you know the picture, financial picture of your enterprise. Otherwise, if you have not maintained the accounts properly, then you don't know the proper profit and loss of the organization. And the final commercial function is finance. Finance is the lifeblood and nerve center of a business, irrespective of its size, kind, or nature. Just as the circulation of blood is essential in the human body for maintaining life, finance is very essential for smooth running of the business. Finance is defined as the provision of money at the time it is required. It is the art and science of managing money. Entrepreneur prepares the estimates for the requirement of funds. The funds may be required for short term and long term purposes. He needs short term funds for working capital management and long term funds for a solvency position of his enterprise. What it says is you require the short term funds as well as the long term funds, and all the arrangement of the funds has to be done by the entrepreneur. This is a prime function, because without money nothing will run. So as the human body cannot be expected without the blood, the same way so money is in the organization. It has to flow every day, everywhere, in every part. So there is no department which doesn't require money. Every department in the organization requires money. And who is looking after entrepreneur? Now if you see the role of an entrepreneur, it's what you call very difficult. So becoming an entrepreneur not an easy, it's very challenging. The functions itself, you see, now we have just put for our studies in 4 categories, but other than that many more things he has to look after. So categorically, entrepreneurial functions we saw, promotional functions we saw, managerial functions we saw, and commercial functions we saw. So here I will close today. So I have concluded with the explanation of the entrepreneur. So from tomorrow's class we will move with the other topics like characteristics of entrepreneurship. Now entrepreneur topic is over, so entrepreneurship will move. So one by one after the another basic concepts I will be clarifying. After that intrapreneur, another word comes. Then after that we'll have a differentiation between the entrepreneur and manager, entrepreneur and entrepreneur, entrepreneur and entrepreneurship. So all these differences we'll have. So there will be concluding the first chapter. Thank you.